Good afternoon from Hawthorne High School, home of the Cougars. It is the CityTV Game of the Week. The Culver City Centaurs versus the Hawthorne Cougars. And in the Ocean baseball standings, Culver City is 4-0 in league, 14-4 overall. And Hawthorne is 0-4 in league and 11-8-1 overall. There you see on the mound the starting pitcher for the Hawthorne Cougars, Dominic Gutierrez, just a sophomore. But the youngster is a left-hander, and boy, is he something else. Jose Sandoval is behind the plate for the Cougars, and then we'll go around the infield and the outfield for you. It'll be Javier Martinez in left field. Stevie Leyva is in center. Mark Laffoon is in right field, and there you see the Centaurs getting ready to face Gutierrez. Alberto Melendrez is at third base. Andrew Banuelos is at shortstop. And at second base, Cesar Escayas. Playing at first base is Antonio Ramirez. And like we said, on the mound is Dominic Gutierrez. There you see some of the guys that are on the bench for the Cougars today. And Gutierrez will be facing Darian Sylvester, the shortstop, to lead things off. He'll be followed by Jay Sterner, Daniel Hennessy, Timothy Stewart, Kelvin Murillo, Max Akita, and then it's Juan Alcala and Nick Netzel. And rounding things out, the pitcher is Nate Matthews. First pitch is in for a strike, 0-1 to Sylvester, and he is a tough customer. The shortstop leading things off, swings and misses at a pitch up high out of the strike zone by Dominic Gutierrez. Coming in, this is Dominic's sixth start of the season. Has a good repertoire of pitches, remains 0-2. Has a 3-2 count, or 3-2 mark on the season, and a 2.70 ERA. This is the beginning of his 25th inning of work. Another foul ball by Sylvester, as Gutierrez does like to work in a hurry. For Dominic, he also has 41 strikeouts and 21 walks, so that's double the strikeouts to walk ratio, and that's really what you like to have as Sylvester steps out of the batter's box. Gutierrez has given up 29 hits, no home runs, and a breezy day here in Hawthorne that's blowing from home plate out to, and there's a long drive. And speaking about no home runs, there's the broadcaster's jinx. That is way out of here. A home run for Sylvester and the Centaurs, and a leadoff home run makes it 1-0 Culver City. So on an 0-2 count, Darian Sylvester just nailed it, just launched it, got it up into that jet stream that's going from home plate out to left field, and there was nothing that Javier Martinez could do but just watch it go out of the ballpark. So we were just saying that that was the first that Dominic Gutierrez had not given up a home run, and then boom. Jay Sterner coming to bat. Jay is the right fielder for Rick Prieto's Centaurs. Rick Prieto, one of the good guys in the coaching ranks, as well, heck, they all seem to be good guys. Jeff Hines for the Cougars has been around for a long time, and it's 0-2 now to Sterner. Jeff molding players and young men for the Hawthorne Cougars for many years. He's helped out by Oscar Robles. Foul tipped into the glove, and strike three, down goes Sterner. First strikeout for Gutierrez, so now he has 42 on the year. That'll bring up Daniel Hennessy, the catcher for the Centaurs. Breaking ball, and that's in for a strike. Melendrez at third base for the Cougars, playing in a bit. Maybe they think that Hennessy is going to drop one down. Swing and a miss, 0-2. So Gutierrez is having the guys swing at the pitches, that's for sure. Swing and a miss. And down goes Hennessy. 2 strikeouts, but one mistake and that was to Darian Sylvester, who launched a home run deep into left field. Heck, he almost hit it into the softball field. That'll bring up the left-handed hitting Timothy Stewart, playing in center field. Nice curveball by Gutierrez. And now another 0-2 count to one of the Centaurs. I don't believe that Gutierrez has thrown a ball yet. And the Centaurs haven't seen a pitch they haven't liked to swing at. Just missed. So jinx Gutierrez again. So Dominic Gutierrez, a good looking young pitcher on the mound. Just a sophomore. Still 0-2 to Stewart. So check that 1-2 to Stewart. With 2 down. Dominic Gutierrez. A nice fluid swing by Timothy Stewart. Dominic looking to strike out the side after giving up the leadoff home run. That one's up high, 2-2. So Culver City and the Cougars are going in opposite directions right now. A ground ball sharply hit to first base is picked up by Ramirez, and he steps on the bag. So after giving up the leadoff home run, the Centaurs go 1-2-3, and 1 run on 1 hit for the Centaurs. And coming up, it'll be the Hawthorne Cougars to face Nate Matthews right after this. First, want to show you the replay, and a nice pickup by Antonio Ramirez. Bottom of the first inning, and the Centaurs have a 1-0 lead over the Cougars. And now they're getting set up, the Centaurs being they, as you're looking at Nate Matthews right now. Nate Matthews, a lanky right-handed pitcher, getting ready to throw to the Cougars. And it'll be Dominic Gutierrez, the pitcher for the Cougars. Then it'll be Stevie Leyva, Andrew Banuelos, Chris Robles, the designated hitter, and he'll be hitting for the second baseman for the Cougars, Cesar Esquias. And then it'll be Jose Sandoval, the catcher, followed by Mark Laffoon out in right field, Javier Martinez in left, and actually out in center field. We'll check that he is in left. Stevie Leyva is in center field, and Antonio Ramirez is at first base, and Alberto Melendrez rounds out the batting order for the Hawthorne Cougars. 2-0 to Dominic Gutierrez. Again, doing very well, except for that one pitch, slow curveball, bends in for a strike. And that one pitch was whacked real hard and gone by Darian Sylvester on an 0-2 count. Another slow breaking ball, and that's in for a strike. So Matthews trying to keep the Centaurs undefeated in league play, and this is launched high in the air to left field. Going back on the ball and losing it in the sun is Max Akita, and Gutierrez stops with the leadoff double, and Akita just lost it in the sun. Let's watch this again. This was just an easy, well, actually a slicing fly ball. And Akita just lost it. That sun is high and bright and has given many an outfielder, especially a left fielder, a lot of headaches. So Gutierrez came in batting .500, and that is his 6th double of the year. So Leyva squaring the bunt and looks at a strike anyway. Leyva coming in, batting .358, has 9 RBI and also 1 extra base hit, a double. Trying to get, as Matthews throws to his shortstop, Darian Sylvester, and back goes Gutierrez. We'll meet the Centaur defensively in just a moment, but just wanted to tell you that Gutierrez and Leyva trying to work something out so they can tie this game up. So now let's go over the defensive alignment for the Centaurs. Max Akita, and there you see the replay, and that one almost, if it hadn't hit Gutierrez in the leg, that would have been in center field, and Gutierrez could have scored from there, but at least gone to third base. So Max Akita is in left field. We've already met him. Timothy Stewart in center as Leyva squares to bunt again and lays it down a little bit too hard, but the only play Matthews has is to first base, and the sacrifice works 1-3. And down to third base goes Dominic Gutierrez with 1 down. And you saw Gutierrez talking with head coach Jeff Hines. You saw Matthews didn't have any play at third base, but gave it a good look as Gutierrez got a nice jump on Leyva's bunt. Now Andrew Banuelos steps in. High chopper, that's off the plate, and that gets through into center field. Timothy Stewart picks it up, and that got by Sylvester. And in to score is Dominic Gutierrez, and is tied up at 1. That one bounced high off the plate, and Sylvester didn't have a shot at it. And that'll bring up Chris Robles, the designated hitter. So tough luck there for Nate Matthews in Culver City. Foul tipped into the glove to Robles, and it's 0-1. Chris Robles batting .477, and this is his 44th at bat. Has 11 RBIs, is getting back just underneath the tag is Steve Leyva. Or check that, that is Andrew Banuelos over there. So 11 RBI for Robles, has 4 doubles. And a base running. Banuelos is 8 out of 9 and has to come back on the bunt try. That was fouled back by Robles, and now it's 0-2. So continuing with the defensive alignment, Jay Sterner is in right field, and also behind Matthews on the infield from third to first is Kevin Murillo, Darian Sylvester, Michael Netzel, Juan Alcala at first base. Behind the plate is Daniel Hennessy, and Nate Matthews throws a fastball that's outside. So it's 1-2 to Robles. See if there's anything on a 1-2 count here with Banuelos and good speed out there. Curveball, and that's called strike 3. And Robles knew it. So 2 down for the Cougars. First strikeout for Matthews. And that'll bring up Jose Sandoval. Jose batting .262, has 17 RBI and 6 doubles. So he's very productive, has 11 hits and 17 RBI. Jose doing the catching today for the Cougars. And the ball gets away from the first baseman, Alcala, but not far enough down the line. And a good job by the first base coach, Oscar Robles, to tell Robles to stay there. So the ball was knocked down by Alcala. It didn't stray too far up the line. This time the runner goes. The throw is going to be way late. And with his 9th stolen base is Andrew Banuelos. So the pitch was a strike to Sandoval. And that base was stolen by Andrew Banuelos, and that was definitely off of Nate Matthews. Ground ball sharply hit, and is it a fair ball? It's a foul ball, just by a couple of inches, and that would have made it 2-1. So just another beautiful spring day at the ballpark. And that wind is starting to pick up a bit. So 2 on and 2 down. Swung on and missed, and down goes the hitter, Jose Sandoval. Actually, there was just one man on. So a run on 2 hits and a man left, as we'll go to the top of the second inning with a tie score. Top of the second inning for the Centaurs, and they're going to send up Kevin Murillo, followed by Max Akita and Juan Alcala to face Dominic Gutierrez. Kelvin playing third base today for Rick Prieto. Looks at the first pitch, and that's outside for a ball. Well, Dominic Gutierrez took things into his own hand in the bottom of the first inning, getting on with a double and then scoring on the RBI single by Andrew Banuelos. Right now he's behind Kelvin Murillo, 2-0. Kelvin, one of the newer faces on this Centaur team. Don't remember him from last year, as a curveball bends in for strike 1. But the Centaurs coming down La Cienega and Hawthorne Boulevard to take on the Cougars in this Ocean League battle. Off-speed pitch, and that's in for strike 2. Swing and a miss, and that might have been foul tipped into the glove. And down goes Murillo. That's 3 strikeouts for Dominic Gutierrez. So 3 strikeouts, and that makes it 44 for Dominic on the season. And that'll bring up Max Akita. Fastball, and that's inside. Max was the victim of that high, bright sun that just really wreaks havoc on the left fielder, also the left side of the infield. This one's popped up down the right field line. Coming over for it is LaFoon, and he puts it away. That'll bring up Juan Alcala. Akita going with the pitch and lined it right to LaFoon. Alcala, a big first baseman. First pitch is low and inside. Bet you he'd love to do the same thing that Darian Sylvester did in the first inning and give the ball a ride into that jet stream. That one was inside and got away from Sandoval. Alcala already's got his uniform dirty from fielding so many pickoff tries, and this was popped up off the hands, and actually that was a foul ball called by the umpire because that went off of the top of the batting cage. That comes way out over the batter now to save those nice cars that are along Broadway. And Old Ironside. Got to protect Old Ironside, especially our producer, director, Tom Strickfadden. But he's got a hard hit anyway. Fouled off, and now it's 2-2 to Alcala. Looks like one of the Alou brothers standing in there. That one's foul, tipped in to the glove, and down goes Alcala. That's the 4th strikeout by Gutierrez today. And that's going to do it for the Centaurs. And we'll go to the bottom of the 2nd. Bottom of the 2nd inning here. It'll be the Centaurs and the Hawthorne Cougars, and it's all tied up at 1. 1 run on 2 hits for the Cougars, 1 run on 1 hit for the Centaurs. And Nate Matthews back on the hill. He'll face Mark Laffoon, Javier Martinez, and Antonio Ramirez in that order. Laffoon stepping in, batting left-handed, throws right-handed. Also, one of the leading pitchers on the Cougars, as the first pitch to him is a ball. Laffoon batting .292. Has 8 RBI. Inside. So 2-0. Also, Laffoon doing very well on the mound for the Cougars as a starting pitcher. Here comes the pitch from Matthews, and that's hits the outside corner with a strike. So a good breaking ball. Almost like a screwed ball from Matthews. Said that Gutierrez had 41 strikeouts. Actually, Laffoon has the 41 strikeouts, and oh, what a beautiful play by Juan Alcala. That ball was ticketed for right field, but Juan Alcala dove to his right and came up with it. Snagged it for the out, and that definitely had base hit written all over it. But Juan Alcala, the big first baseman for the Centaurs, puts it and Laffoon away for the first out. That'll bring up Javier Martinez, but just wanted to correct something. We're saying that Gutierrez had 41 strikeouts and 21 walks, but those are Laffoon's numbers. Daniel Gutierrez has 21 strikeouts and 7 walks, so a much, much better ratio numbers-wise, although Laffoon has double the strikeouts. So Javier Martinez steps in, and it's 1-1 to him with 1 down and a 1-1 score. Swing and a miss. So now it's 1-2 to Javier. Javi batting .258, has 3 extra base hits, has a double, a triple, and a home run. This one's line foul down the right field line. Javi has 9 RBI in his 8 hits. And called strike 3 as that curveball buckled the knees of Javier Martinez. And that's the 3rd strikeout for Nate Matthews. That'll bring up Antonio Ramirez. Ramirez playing third base today for Jeff Hines and the Cougars. That one's a ball. No one on base, so no emergence to get that back to the pitcher. Ramirez batting .385, has 2 RBI. Still looking for his first extra base hit of the year. That one's fouled back. It's 1-1. So both of these pitchers have the control of this game so far in hand, although it's a 1-1 tie, and the leadoff hitters have figured prominently in the game so far, albeit it's only in the bottom of the 2nd. Grounded foul again by Ramirez. It's 1-2. Should Ramirez get on, Alberto Melendrez is on deck. Fastball, and that's just high, and you saw Daniel Hennessy lining up outside. But that fastball was right on the corner, right where Hennessy wanted it, but it was just up a little bit. Right, a breaking ball, and that was a beauty. Strike 3 called, so 2 strikeouts in the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Hawthorne Cougars. 4 strikeouts, and we're going to go to the top of the 3rd inning as we watch this breaking ball. Actually, the big play by Alcala that really set the tone for the inning. Top of the 3rd we go. 1-1's the score. And it'll be Nate Matthews, or actually Michael Netzel, leading off, and swings and misses at the first offering from Dominic Gutierrez. It has been a pitcher's battle. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Netzel playing second base today for Prieto and the Centaurs. And this one's popped up, and it goes out of play. So it remains 0-2. Mike wearing number 11. A lot of infielders wear number 11. One comes to mind. Don't know if anyone else might remember this, but the old Angels shortstop, Jim Fregosi. He probably wouldn't like me calling him old, even though he probably is in his 70s. Remains 0-2. But he proudly wore 11 for the Halos for many years before he got traded for, guess who? Yep, Nolan Ryan. Ryan and Fregosi were traded from the look out as Netzel spun out of the way of that one. Gutierrez has only plunked 1 batter so far this season. Yeah, the Angels traded Fregosi to the Mets for Nolan Ryan back in the mid-60s, late 60s. This one's fouled back, and Netzel hanging tough. Netzel trying to lead things off and let the top of the lineup do something, but can't find that meatball-looking fastball by Dominic Gutierrez, and down he goes. That's the 5th strikeout for Dominic Gutierrez already. That'll bring up Nate Matthews, so this should be an interesting matchup. Matthews, Culver City's pitcher. Looks like he knows how to use a bat, too. Breaking ball, and that's in on the inside corner for a strike. A nice pitch by Dominic Gutierrez. This one's hammered into center field. Back on the ball goes Leyva, and that one is going to one-hop the wall. Picking up the ball and going on the way in, but by that time, Matthews is on at second base. The ball gets away, and he stays there at second. So Matthews crushes an 0-1 count pitch into dead center field. So 1 out, and that brings up Darian Sylvester. As you see that one getting right over the head of the center fielder, Steve Leyva. And here comes Darian Sylvester. Over the top fastball, and that stays up. Sylvester hit that ball so hard in the top of the 1st inning, it had the Cougars saying suffering succotash. That one's hit high in the air, and this one's playable. Leyva makes the play, and on the play, here comes Matthews down to third base. The throw is accurate, but Matthews beats it. So good play by Leyva to get it in, and down to third base goes Matthews. There you see it again. Leyva got a little bit underneath it and going towards right field, so he had to set himself. That cost him a little bit, and the throw could have had a little something else on it. And well, maybe that's why Matthews got to third base, because I do believe that he left too soon. Because they appealed to second base and got the out recorded. So Nate Matthews left second base too soon. So he was called out on the appeal. So we'll go to the bottom of the third inning, and the score is tied. Bottom of the third inning, and the Cougars will send up Albert Melendrez, then the top of the order, and Dominic Gutierrez and Steve Leyva to face Nate Matthews. And it was Nate Matthews in the top of the inning who ran the Centaurs out of an opportunity to take the lead when he left second base too soon on a fly ball to center field. A bunt try by Melendrez, but that's too hard back to Matthews, and it's a 1-3 putout. That'll bring up Dominic Gutierrez. So the fly ball was hit to center field by Darian Sylvester. And we see the bunt try again. And with those metal composite bats, it's really tough to deaden the ball on a bunt try unless you try to put it either to the left or the right of a pitcher. And Gutierrez swinging and hammering it foul. It's 0-1. Leyva caught the fly ball from Sylvester in the top of the inning, and before he caught it, Nate Matthews left second base to go down to third base on an attempted tag up. And somebody for the Cougars pitches wild on a run. Whether it be Jeff Hollins or the second baseman or the shortstop, a loaded Dominic Gutierrez right there, but and Matthews right there, but too soon. This one is line high, and it's 1-2. So, the right camp is back to plate again. And a killer play as Dominic Gutierrez steps off the
coming, no good.
Top of the fourth we go, and it'll be Andrew Banuelos, Chris Robles, and Jose Sandoval to face Nate Matthews in his fourth inning of work. Nate now has a 1-run lead as Banuelos steps in. Andrew having a tough time, actually doing very well out there in a tough field. Ooh, look out, as he almost gets nailed by Nate Matthews' fastball. That might be a message, as Banuelos had an RBI single and stole a base back in the first inning. We'll find out. Next pitch is outside, and that bites off the outside corner. Well, that could have been a setup pitch for the changeup on the outside corner. At any rate, Banuelos was busy at shortstop, snaring 2 pop fouls, or pop flies I should say, as it's now 1-2. As Banuelos had to go out into short center field twice to run down a couple of wind-blown pop-ups. So now it's 2-2. So Banuelos having a good at bat with Dominic Gutierrez over at third base. Banuelos hit an RBI single to center and then promptly stole his 9th base of the year, but then Robles and Sandoval struck out. Curveball, and that stays outside. Now it's 2-2. Matthews. This is a ground ball, and that was an easy ground ball, as Darian Sylvester lets it go over his head and into left field for a base hit. Actually, that's not going to be a base hit. That's an error all the way. A little bit lackadaisical as some top spin. Actually, he just flat out missed it. It didn't hit the cut of the grass or anything. Darian Sylvester had that glove right in front of his face, expecting the ball to mind his mind and get into the glove, but it never found it. And an error charge to Sylvester. Not at first is Andrew Banuelos, and you know he can steal a base. Chris Robles steps in, and immediately there goes Banuelos, and he has this one stolen. That's stolen base number 10, and he just had one thing in mind, and that's steal second. The pitch was a ball up high as Robles pulled the bat back on the bunt attempt. So now Banuelos is in scoring position with Sylvester bird dogging behind him. It should be the second baseman with the big left-handed Robles, and there you see why. The ball gets through the infield into center field. Hitting third and coming home is Banuelos. The throw is cut off, and in to tie the game is Andrew Banuelos on the RBI single by Chris Robles. So a good job by the Cougars to tie this game up. Sylvester had left the shortstop position to play behind the base runner Banuelos to try to keep him close. Again, it should have been the second baseman doing that, because that left a big hole for Chris Robles, as Matthews now has a tie game. So RBI for Robles, and in steps Jose Sandoval as he bunts the first attempt foul. So for Chris Robles, that's RBI number 11 on the season. He came in batting around .470, and that's now his 21st hit on the year. So Nate Matthews checking the real estate, has Robles, the big designated hitter, over at first base, and Jose Sandoval getting ready to climb in. So now we're getting things set in a 2-2 ball game where the pitchers have been dominating. And Sandoval squaring to bunt, and Matthews would have nothing of it. So now it's 1-1. Mark LaFoon coming up next. And now it's 2-1 and time called now, as they're going to have a powwow on the mound as Nate Matthews seems a little bit rattled. Also, Chris Robles going over to third base to talk to his coach, Jeff Hines. There you see Rick Prieto trying to straighten things out. Also, straighten things out with the infield on what situation is going to happen if this or that happens. Jeff Hines going over the same thing with Jose Sandoval, his hitter, and Chris Robles, his base runner. So Nate Matthews has only given up 1 run on 3 hits. A big error by Darian Sylvester led to the Cougars' second run of the game. And now here comes Sandoval with the 2-1 count. Squares to bunt, and it's right back to Matthews. He has 1 play, and that's to first base. So the sacrifice works. 1-3. And Jeff Hines knows that one way that he's going to get some runs across is by playing little ball. Lots of running, lots of bunting, and smart offensive tactics. So that'll bring up Mark LaFoon, who lined out to Juan Alcala at first base to lead off the second inning. And this one's a hard ground ball to shortstop. Sylvester has his throw hit the back of Chris Robles. And then Mark LaFoon is over at first base as the third baseman there, Kelvin Murillo, threw the ball back to first. LaFoon made it back, but Sylvester trying to get the lead runner instead of getting the sure out, being Mark LaFoon. So fielder's choice has LaFoon on, and now they've just sent Robles back to second. And that'll bring up Javier Martinez. Javi is 0 for 1 as well, struck out looking back in the second inning. Let's go, guys. So now Jeff Hines may be going to his bench. And I do believe that's what's happening. Javier Martinez, not too happy about getting pulled out of the game, as now Hines and Oscar Robles are talking things over. So Jeff Hines,
16 for 30. All right, 16.
putting in Max Riley in to pinch hit.
Here you go. You coaching, I'm going to put you back in the coach's box. Okay? All right. No, but you were coaching because he walked over to you. Let's go.
So the umpire telling Jeff Hines to get back in the coaching box. So Max Riley stepping in, taking over for Martinez. He looks at a strike. So Max hitting .227, has 3 RBI in a big spot here with the runners at the corners. That one's fouled off of the mask of Hennessy, and it's 0-2. Actually, Chris Robles got sent back to second base. So now Matthews and Hennessy talking about things. So Mark LaFoon over at first base. Over at second base is Chris Robles. And one run in for the Cougars on one hit. Fastball called strike three. That appeared to be inside, and Max Riley thought so too. But down goes Riley, and that's the 6th strikeout for Nate Matthews, who has no walks today. And that'll bring up Antonio Ramirez, the big first baseman for the Cougars. So another pinch hitter. As Ramirez will not hit. And the Cougars send up a pinch hitter. Left-handed hitter hits it high in the air down the left field line and puts it away. So down go the Cougars, one pitch and one out for the pinch hitter, but one run is scored on one hit. Two are left as we see the replay on the flyout to end the threat. But it's all tied up as two as we go into the 5th inning. Top of the 5th we go, and it'll be Juan Alcala, Michael Netzler, and Nate Matthews. Then the top of the order, should one of those players reach. Dominic Gutierrez into his 5th inning of work has given up 2 runs on 3 hits. Has struck out 5 and walked 1. So Juan Alcala with a 1-1 count. Juan is 0 for 1, struck out to end the 2nd inning in a 1-2-3 inning put in the books by Gutierrez and the Cougars. So Alcala, even though he's at the bottom of the order, looks like a dangerous hitter. And fouls this one back. It's 0-2. Check that 1-2. Swing and a miss, and down goes Alcala for the 2nd time. A nasty breaking pitch by Gutierrez, and that's strikeout number 6. And that'll bring up Michael Netzel, who struck out to lead off the 3rd inning. In the dirt. Netzel wasn't buying it. Gutierrez in a warm, breezy afternoon, and a breaking ball stays up high. It's 1-1. So first place and last place getting it on after yesterday I should say. The Centaurs beating up on Hawthorne at Culver City. And the final score of that one was 5-0. So the Cougars playing the Centaurs tough. And this one's hit up the chute, and a fly ball, pop fly. And that's taken care of by Cesar Escayes. Getting in the ball game. So pop out to second base, and that'll bring up Nate Matthews. So with Javier Martinez out of the lineup, Max Riley takes over for him in left field. 0-1 to Matthews, who had a double, a booming double, back in the third inning. Strike two called. Good pitch by Gutierrez. But Matthews, on a fly ball to center field, left too soon on the tag-up attempt and was called out. This is pulled to third base and is picked up by Melendrez. A bounce, and that gets away from the new first baseman. And Matthews will stay there on the error by the third baseman, Alberto Melendrez. So the first baseman, Brandonovich, had the ball short hop him, and he just couldn't handle it. So Brandonovich, as this one's grounded towards shortstop, picked up by Banuelos, and everybody's safe. Andrew was cheating a little bit towards second base on the force out try. So another error. Or let's just check this here. Banuelos got it and dropped it, so that's an error. So 2 errors, 2 runners. And now Jose Sandoval talking to his pitcher and probably talking about what base to throw to in case of a ground ball or a bunt attempt. So Jay Sterner stepping in. Jay is 0 for 1 with a walk, and Jeff Hines coming out to talk to his team. Dominic Gutierrez out there has had some pretty good success against Culver City, and Rick Prieto talking to his Centaurs. Sterner struck out swinging in the first and popped out to shortstop back in the fourth inning. Fastball is up high for a ball. Alcala struck out, and then Netzel popped to second. And then Nate Matthews and Darian Sylvester both on via the error. Breaking ball stays outside, and it's 2-0. So if the Centaurs were going to do something, this would be the pitch to do it at 2-0. And the ball is ripped into right field past Escallas, and into right field for a base hit, and in to score is Nate Matthews, and the Centaurs take the lead back at 3-2 on the RBI single by Sterner. Down to second base goes Sylvester. As you see, that was a clean base hit picked up by LaFoon, who got it back in a hurry. Darian Sylvester goes down to third base, and Dan Hennessy steps in. Hennessy is 0 for 1. Struck out in the first inning, walked, and eventually scored in the fourth inning. So Gutierrez ready on the mound. Hennessy ready at the plate as he fouls the first pitch off to him. This one's fouled at the plate, and it's 0-2 with 2 down. So everything's happened with 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th, and Gutierrez looking for that one pitch to get Hennessy out. 2 outs, 2 on. And being driven back is Jay Sterner, who has just hit an RBI single to right field. So it's 2 outs, 2 on. 0-2 to Hennessy. And he hits it high in the air into right field. Coming on for it and making the catch is Mark LaFoon to end the threat. But a run comes across on a hit, 2 errors in the inning. And you see the fly ball, can of corn for Mark LaFoon. But that wind is treacherous and puts it away as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Bottom of the 5th inning, and that brings up the bottom of the order. Alberto Melendrez comes up. Then we'll go to the top, and it'll be Dominic Gutierrez and Stevie Leyva to face Nate Matthews, who is in his 5th inning of work. 2 runs on 2 hits. Let's check that, 3 hits and 6 strikeouts. So we'll see what Melendrez has to bring to the table. Albert is 1 for 3. You see Nate given that 1-run lead by his mates. And he actually scored the go-ahead run. First pitch is in the dirt for a ball. So 2 errors contributing to the run. Second pitch is low as well, so it's 2-0. Gutierrez and the Cougars almost got out of it, and this one's on the corner for strike 1, 2-1. Had 2 outs and an 0-2 count on Matthews, and then a ground ball was hit to Melendrez, and he bounced it over to first base where Brandonovich couldn't get the ball on the short hop. And this one, the ball kicks off of the infield dirt, and safe at first base is Melendrez. And Michael Netzel had trouble, but we're going to call this an infield hit. That was a toughie. We'll watch this one. Just a short hop and off of the glove. So that'll bring up the top of the order and Dominic Gutierrez. Dominic having a good game himself on the mound, as well as Matthews, and this fastball is right down the middle. He has accounted for a run with a double into left field and grounded out to shortstop. Try to take the lead on that one. It's 0-2. But the double in the bottom of the 1st inning to lead things off for the Cougars went right up into that high sun in left field, and Max Akita had to give up on it, lost it in that big bright sun. Breaking ball, and that's outside. So 1-2 to Gutierrez, trying to at least move along Alberto Melendez, who led things off with an infield single. Alcala holding him on. Did he go around? Yes, he did, says the umpire, and down goes Gutierrez. So it's a swinging strikeout, and that's number 7 for Nate Matthews. So that'll bring up Steve Leyva. Leyva is 0 for 1. Pitch was a strike as Leyva dropped down to try to bunt it. Leyva is 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a sacrifice back in the 1st inning to set up the RBI single by Andrew Banuelos, who's on deck. This one's fouled away. So now it's 0-2. With one out and a man on for the Cougars. Nate Matthews waiting on baseballs. And Jeff Hines talking to Leyva. Next up for the Cougars next week, they'll be at Beverly Hills on the 23rd and then welcome in Beverly Hills on the 25th. Good eye by Leyva to let that one go by. Slider, and that misses, so it's 1-2. And that was a slider, and that was called strike 3, and Steve Leyva doesn't agree with the umpire, but that was a terrific pitch by Nate Matthews, who now has 8 strikeouts on the day. That'll bring up Andrew Banuelos, who is 1 for 1 with an RBI single back in center field, and then got on an error, stole his second base of the game, and came around to score on Chris Robles' single. Swing and a miss by Banuelos, who's been very busy at shortstop today. Breaking ball, that drops in. Or did it? Nope. Just missed. Melendrez taking a good lead over at first base. And this one's fouled back, and it's 1-2. So the Culver City bench is hoping for a strikeout, while the Hawthorne bench is looking for a 2-out something. Melendrez is 2 for 2 in stolen bases, but he's not going to get a chance at this at bat. And that's a ground out, 4-3. So for the Cougars, no runs on an infield hit and 1 man left. As we go to the top of the 6th inning, it's a 1-run lead for the Culver City Centaurs. First pitch to the leadoff hitter, Timothy Stewart, is a ball. This one is fouled away. So through 5 innings is Dominic Gutierrez in his 6th inning of work. 3 runs on 4 hits. And in the error department, 4 errors by Hawthorne today, as it's now 2-1 to Stewart, who is 1 for 2. Gutierrez, strike that just bit off the corner. Now it's 2-2. Gutierrez has 75 pitches coming into this inning. On the other side of the coin, Nate Matthews has also thrown 75 pitches. This one's fouled away, and it remains 2-2. But Matthews is leading 3-2. 2 runs on 3 hits with 8 strikeouts. And also 1 error behind him. So that could be a difference, and a big swing and a miss by Stewart on a good breaking ball by Gutierrez. And that's the strikeout number 7 for Gutierrez. That'll bring up Kelvin Murillo, who is 0 for 1, was on an error. Ball sails away. So Gutierrez pitching the first place team tough in this Ocean League battle. Ground ball, and that's into left field for a base hit. So that's hit number 5 for the Centaurs. And that'll bring up Max Akita's spot. A nice fluid swing, and Andrew Banuelos was playing up the middle a little bit as Max Riley got the ball in. So we'll watch Kevin Murillo to see if he can steal a base. Looks like he can. And almost picked him off. And the Culver City first base coach is telling him what for. Even though Murillo was leaning back towards the bag, he almost got hung out to dry. And Gutierrez already has 1 base runner picked off from Culver City. And again, now he's been working, he being Dominic Gutierrez, has been working on that pickoff move. You might recall one game that CityTV did. Dominic Gutierrez was close to pitching a balk, but he has looked very good today in his pickoff moves right there, where his right foot has been staying parallel with the first base bag. There were some complaints that, there you see it there, as Murillo getting back. Looks like Ramirez is back over at first base. So Gutierrez must know that Murillo will take off. Jose Banuelos is now at first base. And the pitch to Akita is a ball, so it should be 2-0. And back again. Dominic Gutierrez keeping a close eye on Kelvin Murillo, but he has to deal with Akita now. This is grounded and right into the same spot and into left field for a base hit. Riley gets it back in, but in the meantime, runners at first and second and only 1 out for the Centaurs. So Akita is now 1 for 3. And that'll bring up big Juan Alcala, who is overdue. He is struck out twice swinging. So Gutierrez in a jam. And this one's poked back towards the mound, and that's like a swinging bunt. So 1-3 on the putout, but on the play, Murillo goes down to third base, and over to second goes Akita. So good play by Gutierrez, getting the sure out over at first base. So now, with 2 down, Mark Netzel comes up, and he's 0 for 2. Struck out and popped up to second base. Fastball, and that stays up with the overhand fastball. Nate Matthews' spot is next. This one's hit high in the air into left field. Back goes Riley, still going back, and this one is gone. A 3-run home run for Michael Netzel, and that makes it 6-2. There's that jet stream coming into play. Murillo, Akita come in before Michael Netzel, and he got all of that one. As Max Riley said it's gone, and it sure was. So 2 home runs in the game for Culver City. And the power strikes. So the big 3-run home run really hurts. And that'll bring up Nate Matthews, who's got to breathe a sigh of relief. And this pitch bounces in. So a leadoff home run by Darian Sylvester in the first at bat of the game on an 0-2 count. And this was a 1-0 count to Michael Netzel, who hammered it with 2 outs. And that one hurts. One pitch here, one play there. And they say this is a game, this isn't a game of inches. Well, there you see a strike right there. 1-1. Pitch is up high. Been a long day for Gutierrez, although he has pitched valiantly against the first place Centaurs, who are ranked 3rd in their division in the CIF Southern section. And this is grounded, and when it goes off of the chest of Melendrez with the long throw, but by the time he gets it over to Banuelos, Nate Matthews is on first with an infield single. That just ate up Melendrez. So 2 down, and that brings up the top of the order and Darian Sylvester. Sylvester is 1 for 2. Homered, like we said, and now he's having a good time with Jose Sandoval right now. And that'll be it for Gutierrez, as a new pitcher's going to come in, and Gutierrez will finish the day out in center field. Leyva was out in center field, so we'll see what's going on. Let's see, just do some book work here. Andrew Banuelos coming on the pitch. So he'll pitch to Darian Sylvester, and Nate Matthews is Dominic Gutierrez's responsibility. So top of the 6th inning, 2 out. Andrew Banuelos will get as many pitches as he needs. So 3 runs in on the big 3-run bomb by Michael Netzel. So Andrew Banuelos moves from shortstop over to the pitcher's mound. It appears that Brendanovich moves over to third base. And it appeared that Gutierrez went out to shortstop, went out to center field. And we'll find out who went over to shortstop, as the first pitch from Banuelos is up high. Leyva goes into shortstop. And this one's a ground ball, and this is a fly ball. And that's over the wall. Yes, it is. That's another home run for Darian Sylvester. A 2-run home run this time. And it is 8-2 in favor of Culver City on the 2-run home run by Darian Sylvester. So an 0-1 count. And Darian gave that a ride. Got that up into that jet stream, and Riley just runs out of room. So 2nd home run of the afternoon for Sylvester. And Andrew Banuelos can just say, I'm just going to shake this off and try to get this back in our dugout. Banuelos, a junior. So a 3-run home run and a 2-run home run. And that brings up Jay Sterner. So that closes the books on Dominic Gutierrez's pitching, as it's now 8-2, but 7 of those runs are charged to Gutierrez. We'll get Dominic's line in a moment as this pitch goes through the legs of both of the umpire. So it's 2-0. Sterner is 1 for 3, had a base hit and an RBI back in the 5th inning. On deck is Daniel Hennessy. As Danny would be the 9th man to bat in this inning. On the outside corner for a strike. And a walk. Only the second walk by Hawthorne pitching, 1 for each pitcher. And Hennessy is the 9th man to bat. So the Centaurs have batted around this inning. And the ball gets away from Sandoval. And down to second base goes Sterner on the wild pitch. Pitch gets by Sandoval again, and down to third base and into scoring position, even deeper into scoring position, is Sterner. So the spokes are getting loose on the Cougar bike, as they're just looking to get out of this inning now. Pitch is up high. So now that's 3-0. Strike called. Now it's strike 2 to Hennessy, who is 0 for 2 with a walk and scored back in the 4th inning. And strike 3 called, and down goes Hennessy, but not before 2 long home runs. A 3-run shot. This one was the first one was by Michael Netzel, and then a 2-run shot by Darian Sylvester, and that broke open the ball game for the Centaurs. Bottom of the 6th we go. It'll be Chris Robles, Jose Sandoval, and Mark Laffoon to face Nate Matthews, who has just been given a big 6-run lead after the 5-run top of the 6th. 8-2 for Culver City. A 3-run home run by Michael Netzel with 2 down. Actually, yeah, with 2 down. And then 2 batters later, Darian Sylvester hit his 2nd home run of the game, a 2-run shot to left field. Both of them in that wind tunnel in left field, where the wind comes right off of the beach over the freeway from home plate out to left field. Robles swings and fouls it back. Chris is 1 for 2, struck out looking back in the 1st and had an RBI single back in the 4th inning. But Nate Matthews looks a lot more relaxed out there with that big lead. Now it's 0-2 to Robles. 2 runs on 4 hits and 4 left on base. 75 pitches for Nate Matthews coming into this inning, so he has 77 right now. And this one bounces away. The line on Dominic Gutierrez: 8 hits, 7 runs, 7 strikeouts, and 1 walk, and threw 91 pitches. But it was Nate Matthews' infield single that got him pulled after the 3-run home run by Michael Netzel. Robles gets a hold of that curveball and bounces it foul, so it's still 1-2. So again, a play here, a pitch there. It looked like Gutierrez and company were going to get out of it with 2 outs, and then Michael Netzel sent one up into that jet stream. There's a fly ball into right center field, and it's slicing over towards Sterner, and he puts it away for the first out. That'll bring up Jose Sandoval, who is 0 for 1. Oscar Robles given a 5 to Robles. Or Oscar Robles to Chris Robles. Just over underneath that one. And Jose Sandoval 0 for 1 with a sacrifice as the first pitch bounces away from Dan Hennessy. So the Cougars looking for their first win in Ocean League action. And bounces this one, chops it, picked up by the third baseman Murillo, and there's 2 down. Well, the schedule maker didn't do any favors to Hawthorne. As there you see the ground out. Santa Monica and Culver City, the 2 top teams in the league to start things off, but at least they're done. And now, with Beverly Hills without a win in Ocean League action, Inglewood, they're 2-2 in league action, and Morningside without a win as of today. Hawthorne can look forward after today's game. Nice pitch, but that stays outside to Mark LaFoon. Mark is 0 for 2. The strikeout leader, 41 strikeouts under his belt. Has things his way in this count, 2-0. And that one skitters underneath him. So now it's 3-0. So the Cougars just looking for a way to scratch out some runs. But Nate Matthews has been very stingy, and a strike called right down the middle. Is LaFoon taken all the way. 8 strikeouts on the day for Matthews, and only 4 hits scratched out by Hawthorne. That one is off of the foot. Yikes. Could be off of the ankle, and that feels like somebody just taking a hammer to your ankle. Let's see what happened. Yep, right off of the instep. Doesn't feel good, that's for sure. It's like putting on a shoe full of hornets. So LaFoon getting back into the batter's box. Count now 3-2. LaFoon manning up, getting back in. Matthews with the 3-2 pitch. Ground ball picked up by the first baseman, Alcala, and he'll do it himself. 3 unassisted on the putouts, and that'll do it for the Cougars. They go 1, 2, 3 in their half of the 6th. And here's the ground out as Nate Matthews going all the way in this one, doing a terrific job and getting some help from his defense as they go into the top of the 7th with a 6-run lead. Top of the 7th we go. It'll be Timothy Stewart, Kevin Murillo, and Max Akita to face the Cougars. Dominic Gutierrez went the first 5 2/3. And our new pitcher is Javier Martinez. So Javier started out in left field, sat down, and now is back in. And he fires a strike into Stewart. So Andrew Banuelos had a tough duty coming in to replace Dominic Gutierrez and gave up a 2-run home run. Also got a walk and a strikeout, but one of the runs was charged to Gutierrez. So he gives up a run on a hit. This was fouled back. 1-2 to Timothy Stewart. 1 strikeout, 1 walk for Banuelos, and a wild pitch. 2 wild pitches in 1/3 of an inning. So now it's 2-2 to Stewart, who is 1 for 3. Bounced out to first base to end the first inning. Had a single to right field back in the 4th inning and struck out in the 6th inning. So now it's 3-2 to Timothy Stewart. Tim, one of the reasons these Centaurs are in first place. Fouled off a pitch that was close, but doing a good job in just fouling it off. It's still 3-2. And lost him. So a leadoff walk for Stewart and the Centaurs. That'll bring up Kevin Murillo. Kevin is 1 for 2. Struck out in the 2nd. Was on an error back in the 4th inning and had a base hit to left field back in the 6th. And really gave Dominic Gutierrez fits. First pitch is in for a strike. So the name of the game for Martinez is just pitch strikes and hope the defense can do it behind you. Good pitch. 0-2. That one was right down the middle, but must have been low. So it's ball 1, 1-2. So for Javier Martinez, this is his 8th appearance on the year. And a good pickoff move. He has an inflated 8.25 ERA. Also has 1 save in his 9 1/3 innings. This one's grounded off again, and it remains 1-2. Martinez with 8 strikeouts and 9 walks. Make that 10 with the walk today. Has given up a couple of doubles in the 50 batters he's faced. Has given up 15 runs on 12 hits, 11 of them earned. Good stop by Jose Sandoval, and it's 2-2. So Javier Martinez in relief of Andrew Banuelos, who is in relief of Dominic Gutierrez, who made a couple of mistakes and gave up 2 home runs. And this is grounded to shortstop, onto second for 1, onto first, and not quick enough to get Kelvin Murillo. But on the play, the lead runner is gone, 6-4. Murillo is on at first via the fielder's choice, and a nice turn, but again, Murillo got down the line real quick, being held on by Jose Banuelos. So 1 down and 1 on in the top of the 7th, and here's Max Akita, who is 1 for 3, has a single back in the 6th inning. And he and Murillo were on when Michael Netzel hit that 3-run home run to double up the lead on the Cougars, or to double up the score anyway, from 3-2 to 6-2. Then Darian Sylvester put the cherry on top with his 2-run homer. Akita, very patient out there in the batter's box. Sails up high, and it's 2-0. Glad you joined us on City TV. This has been a terrific ball game. Martinez with a nice pickoff move, and back is the speedy Murillo. They have really been keeping, they being the Cougars, have been really keeping an eye on him, and that pitch is in for a strike. Right down the middle, strike 2. So that's one way to keep a speedster at first. Pitch fastballs for strikes. So here it is with 2-2. And Javi talking to his catcher, Akita. Swung on a miss, strike 3, and Murillo steals second base. So the first strikeout for Martinez, and the 9th strikeout for Cougar pitching, and that brings up big Juan Alcala. He's 0 for 3. Struck out twice and bounced out to Gutierrez. First pitch to him is a ball. Michael Netzel would be next. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. Alcala made the defensive play of the day, and that could have started a rally for the Cougars. And that was back in the 2nd inning when Mark LaFoon, with the score tied at 1, hit a bullet in between the hole at first and second, and LaFoon dove to his right to snag it. But now he's down 1-2 to Javi Martinez. At second base, you saw Kelvin Murillo, just outside, 2-2. So Kelvin has gotten on base 3 different times, 3 different ways. Was on an error back in the 4th, had a base hit in the 6th, and out on the fielder's choice here in the 7th. So now it's full count to Juan Alcala with 2 down, and Maria will be off with this pitch. Curveball, and that's bounced to shortstop. Backhanded by Leyva, throws across and out at first base as Jose Banuelos making a good stretch on that one to get the base runner. So Alcala is out 6-3, and no runs on no hits and a man left. And there you see the nice play by Stevie Leyva. And that ball almost sailed over Banuelos' head, and a nice job to get back down on the bag. Last call for the Cougars coming up. Last call for the Cougars, bottom of the 7th inning. They'll send up Max Riley and Brandonovich, and then Albert Melendrez to face Nate Matthews. Actually, that's Javi Martinez. He's back in the lineup. Took over on the mound. So I know Riley is back in the lineup at first base, so we'll find out where Max is. First pitch is high and tight for a ball. So Javier Martinez, I'm sure, was told by Jeff Hines, the head coach of the Cougars, just get on base. Everybody gets on base and just chip away at this 6-run lead by Culver City. Heck, you get 3 outs. See what you can do with them. This one's popped up. In comes Alcala, who calls on. Oh, Matthews takes care of it, as it was right over him, and the wind wreaked havoc with that one as well. Let's watch this. Here comes Alcala, and then Matthews kind of waves both hands to call off Alcala. And then Brandonovich steps in. This is his first at bat. Looks at a ball outside. Next pitch is inside, so it's 2-0. So a tight game, 3-2. Culver City was broken wide open in the 6th. Now it's 3-0 by 2 long home runs to left field. First one by Michael Netzel, and I wonder how many home runs he has. I don't imagine too many. So 4 pitches and a walk earned by Brandonovich. That's the first walk given up by Matthews today. So time is called, and let's see what Rick Prieto might want to do with his pitcher Nate Matthews, as Alberto Melendez will step in. Actually, that is Jose Banuelos. First pitch, and that goes out of play. So Melendrez went 1 for 2. Going towards the right field line again, and this is out of play. So 0-2 to Jose, who's batting 107 with 2 RBI. Also has a double and has scored 3 times. What a time to get back going. Big curveball didn't curve enough, and it stays up. Brandonovich on for the first time that we know of, according to our stats. So let's see if he might take a shot at stealing.
Baseball.
Still 1-2. I doubt it, down 6 runs, because the Cougars need base runners. Don't need to be taking chances on the base paths. Trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Culver City with a 3-game winning streak. Jose sans batting gloves. Just missed the outside corner. And a good eye by Jose. It's 2-2. 1 down, 1 on for the Cougars in the bottom of the 7th. Dominic Gutierrez would be next. Look out. Good stop by Daniel Hennessy. So now the count's full to Banuelos. Matthews probably telling himself to bear down. There goes Brandonovich, and on the run and hit, Sylvester on a bounce and a nice catch on the short hop by Alcala to make the out. 6-3 on the putout, and the throw across. So that'll do it for Matthews with 2 down. Goes 6 2/3 innings. And on to wrap things up is Luis Ortega. Louis, just a sophomore, getting in some work. Is a lanky beanpole of a kid. Listed at 5'9", 160. So let's hope that wind coming off the 405 doesn't pick him up and blow him away. Yeah, look at that grin. Hey, Mom, I made it. So let's do some bookkeeping on Nate Matthews. Goes 6 2/3. 2 runs on 4 hits. 8 strikeouts. 2 walks. No wild pitches. And just pitched a whale of a game. Got the Cougars in order in the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 6th. And after an infield hit in the 5th inning, got the Cougars 1-2-3. So a fabulous effort by Nate Matthews. And by my count, which is very unofficial, Nate Matthews threw 102 pitches. So Luis Ortega about ready to get things going here to try to put this one in the bank for the Centaurs. And he'll face the top of the order in Dominic Gutierrez's spot. There you see Jeff Hines trying to rally his troops and keep this game going. Right behind him, Centaurs coach Rick Prieto. Gutierrez looks at strike 1 from Ortega. Dominic led off the Cougar attack with a double that was aided by the sun that Max Akita lost, and then came around to score on Andrew Banuelos' RBI single to center field. Then in the third inning, Gutierrez bounced out to shortstop and then struck out in the fifth. Here comes the 1-1. Bounced in, but staying over at second base is Brandonovich. So 2-1 with 2 outs and 1 on for the Cougars. Sails outside, 3-1. Popped up on the left side of the infield, and Sylvester says he has it and puts it away. So Darian Sylvester started it off and finished it for Culver City in a big 8-2 win over the Hawthorne Cougars. And let's watch this final out one more time. Sylvester had 2 home runs, started it off with the leading things off with a solo shot to left field, then had a 2-run home run in the 6th inning to put the icing on the cake for the Centaurs. A big 3-run home run. That was the big hit of the game by Michael Netzel of Culver City. Nate Matthews is the winner with 9 strikeouts, giving up 2 runs on 4 hits and walking 2. And the loser, hard luck loser, is Dominic Gutierrez. 5 2/3 inning, gave up 7 runs on 8 hits, struck out 7 and walked 1. Is now 3-3 on the year. And the Culver City Centaurs are now 14-4 and 4-0, first place in Ocean League. Meanwhile, the Hawthorne Cougars fall to 11-8-1 and 0-4 overall, and they have lost 4, while Culver City has won 4 in a row. Well, for the terrific City TV crew, I'm Lou Stowers telling you once again the final score from Halcap Field. The Hawthorne Cougars fall to the Centaurs of Culver City 8-2. Until next time, so long.